You've got the most popular women's athlete in the world. Do they still not have a Caitlin Clark shoe out? My mind is blown by this. The minute that she started playing in the WNBA, you should have rolled out for every little girl in America that Caitlin Clark wants. And that should have been the best.
In a shocking twist that has left the entire sports world buzzing, a former Nike employee who spent 15 years inside the company's women's division has come forward to expose what may be the greatest endorsement blunder in modern sports history. This insider paints a disturbing picture of a brand that once revolutionized athlete marketing, now fumbling its biggest opportunity since Michael Jordan. As Caitlin Clark ascends to unprecedented stardom, becoming a cultural icon who's not only rewriting record books but redefining women's sports, Nike stands oddly silent. During major moments, like Clark's emotional return to Iowa, where she electrified the arena with a jaw-dropping logo three-pointer, Nike's absence on social media and in promotions was deafening. Unlike Gatorade, which celebrated her triumph, Nike's main accounts offered nothing but radio silence. This wasn't just a missed post, it was a monumental failure to capitalize on a generational athlete whose rise has captured the hearts of millions. As Clark continues to light up arenas and command national attention, fans have grown increasingly frustrated with Nike's bizarre lack of support. Each time Caitlin delivered a historic performance, fans expected Nike, the company that once built its empire by elevating athletes at their peaks, to seize the moment. But instead, they were met with a void. Twitter feeds lit up with confusion and outrage as people openly questioned why the company that practically invented modern sports endorsements would ghost their own athlete. Clark's return to her alma mater should have been a marketing bonanza for Nike, a perfect storm of nostalgia, dominance, and cultural relevance. But instead, Nike sat on the sidelines, leaving a gaping hole in their promotional strategy while rivals began circling like sharks sensing blood.
Hey, sports reporters, let's talk about Caitlin Clark and Nike. All right, now I got thinking about yesterday's event, and that's what it was. This was a sporting event we witnessed yesterday afternoon between the Fever and the Brazil national team. You want to know why Caitlin Clark games are different? Haters. It's because her games are an actual event appointment television.
The insider's revelations became even more damning as she pointed out Nike's troubling financial trajectory. Since 2021, the company's stock has plummeted nearly 60%, devastating the personal wealth of its top executives whose stock options are now practically worthless. Meanwhile, Clark represents the most significant sports marketing opportunity since Michael Jordan, yet Nike is inexplicably dragging its feet. Incredibly, despite having signed Clark, Nike has delayed releasing her signature shoe, kept merchandise off shelves, and done little to amplify her brand presence. Every day they hesitate, they allow competitors to close the gap. The former employee couldn't hide her disbelief. How could the world's top women's athlete not already have a signature sneaker available for millions of fans desperate to support her? Adding insult to injury is the highly criticized structure of Clark's Nike deal itself. Reportedly worth $28 million over 8 years, this contract is increasingly seen as an enormous undervaluation of her worth. Compared to 9-figure endorsement rumors circulating around other emerging athletes, Clark's deal appears almost laughable. For a player who's broken attendance records, driven unprecedented WNBA viewership, and transformed the league's public profile, the contract feels like a bargain basement grab rather than a serious investment in the future of women's sports. And despite signing this contract, Nike has failed to launch the promised signature shoe, has not rolled out any exclusive apparel, and has generally treated one of its most valuable assets like an afterthought, fueling further backlash from both fans and marketing experts. But the controversy doesn't stop at business incompetence. It cuts even deeper into the sensitive issue of racial bias. Multiple voices, including high-profile athletes, have accused Nike of prioritizing white athletes like Clark over women of color. Angel Reese, among others, has used her platform to point out disparities in how Nike allocates its marketing attention. Reese voiced her frustration on her podcast, stating that not all WNBA stars are receiving equal treatment from the brand, raising difficult questions about fairness and representation. These accusations have ignited a passionate debate within both the sports community and broader society, placing even greater pressure on Nike to address not only its business decisions, but also its corporate values and integrity. While Nike continues to stumble, their competitors have wasted no time pouncing on the opportunity. Chief among them is Adidas, who reportedly approached Clark with a significantly more aggressive and lucrative offer. Their proposal goes far beyond mere financial incentives. Adidas promises a full signature line, exclusive colorways, dedicated marketing teams, and creative control that would allow Clark to shape her brand identity. This is not just a contract, it's a kingdom. Adidas appears willing to roll out red carpets, launch immersive campaigns, and make Clark the face of an entire global division. Their proactive approach stands in stark contrast to Nike's hesitation and has opened the door for what could become one of the most explosive endorsement shifts in modern sports history.
It was such a big game for Caitlin, her returning to her alumni in Iowa and her hitting that massive logo 3, the logo 3 during the game, that some of her sponsors would want to show her support on social media, do any sort of marketing to uplift her and uplift their brand. And one who did do that was Gatorade. They tweeted a photo of her and they
Nike's mounting problems only worsened after a baffling series of PR disasters. They initially released a well-received Super Bowl commercial featuring Clark, but immediately followed it up with another ad that inexplicably omitted her name altogether. The public outcry was immediate and ferocious, forcing Nike into a rushed re-edit where they hastily inserted a voiceover to include Clark's name. This sloppy patch job made the company look increasingly desperate, reactive, and out of touch. The back-to-back blunders exposed a company seemingly incapable of managing the basic fundamentals of athlete marketing, especially painful given their historic dominance in this space. The controversy deepened further when Nike finally announced A'ja Wilson's long-delayed signature sneaker, a move that backfired spectacularly. Critics highlighted that Wilson's shoe had been delayed for 2 full years, fueling speculation that Nike has been systematically mishandling its female athletes for some time. Rather than quelling criticism, the belated announcement for Wilson's shoe was perceived as a hasty attempt to redirect attention away from their Caitlin Clark failures. The timing only further exposed Nike's chaotic internal strategy, as fans accused the company of playing favorites and perpetuating a cycle of mismanagement that could have long-term consequences for its reputation. As all these missteps stack up, Nike increasingly appears to be a brand spiraling into an identity crisis. Once revered as the king of athlete endorsements, the company now looks lost and out of sync with the culture it once dominated. Clark's promo up meteoric rise is not a fleeting trend. It's a revolution in women's sports. She's drawing record TV ratings, selling out arenas, and captivating fans across generations. Yet Nike seems blind to her full potential, treating her as a secondary option rather than the generational figure she's become. Their continued failure to build around Clark risks alienating not only her, but also the growing army of fans who view her as the future of the WNBA. Now, the stakes couldn't be higher. Should Clark ultimately jump ship and sign with Adidas, the repercussions would be seismic. Adidas is reportedly prepared to hand her unprecedented control over her branding, product design, and marketing strategy, offering innovations like custom training footage, holographic launches, and full-on cultural campaigns. The Clark one could explode into a global phenomenon, eclipsing any women's sneaker release in history. Such a move would not only devastate Nike's position in women's sports, but also signal a broader shift in power within the athletic apparel industry. This wouldn't just be a lost deal for Nike, it would be a branding catastrophe that haunts the company for decades. And there you have it, one of the biggest corporate blunders playing out right before our eyes. Caitlin Clark's future is hanging in the balance, and whichever brand finally steps up could change the face of women's sports forever. But one thing's for sure, this story is far from over, and we'll be here breaking it all down as it unfolds. If you want to stay updated with the latest twists, insider breakdowns, and the real stories behind the headlines, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our growing community. Your support means everything and helps us bring you even more in-depth content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.